So Merryweather Media is starting a VTuber agency fully dedicated to storytelling and lore. And considering their history making VTuber lore like for VShojo Mythos, Shoto, BuffPup, and a lot of big names, they already set high expectations for the stories they're gonna tell themselves. And they dropped the first trailer for that lore, so I'm gonna go and watch that blindly, mind you. And like, obviously they're debuting very soon, but I just want to see what they're cooking and analyze over it before I see the full videos. Let's go.
Since the beginning, we have told each other stories.
Oh, Merryweather voiceover.
About things we saw, people we met.
That's Mary's Pen
heroes
Kingdom?
we looked to in our darkest hours.
That's Nick?
Shit.
Books
Fred?
are a replacement for memory. Perfection that the human mind could never achieve.
I love this
and
shot.
With only 2 eyes, I can read them one at a time.
Is this truly it? The Hall of the Slain?
Yes, though it has seen greater days.
Oh,
Times change.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Humans find new gods, and then they forget.
When it comes to humanity, their most destructive nature is born of delusion made manifest.
You're
Ooh.
a strange one. I've never met someone like you before. Are you telling me to follow you?
That's so cute.
Wait!
A creature within the library? I see now. You are
Oh.
a personal account.
This is what I feared.
What is?
A total collapse of reality.
Villains win, while good people suffer and die.
Oh, this is
Humans,
interesting.
creatures.
Is all of it a lie? All of it!
Someone in a story once
Oh.
said, if you do not like the world, then change it.
Oh. Okay. That's a lot to take in. Okay, hold up. Let's go over that one more time. There's so much in there. Okay, let's see.
Since the beginning, we have told each other stories.
Okay, yeah.
About things we saw.
So, right from this shot, this looks like Mary's Pen Kingdom castle, but it's collapsing in on itself. Reality is corrupted, bending, shattering.
People we met.
And then we
Heroes
see
we looked
Nick
to in
at the
our
bottom
darkest
here.
hours.
So what it seems like to me is that all of their stories are forcibly moved together because reality is collapsing in on itself. And all of their ways of storytelling both need to be protected, but also combined, they can use the power to get it back together. Does that make any sense?
Shit.
And with Nick's reaction here, it just seems like he was forcibly moved from what he was doing to that place. And it's like, oh, shit, that's, this is not good. And he just immediately recognizes what's going on, or at least gets the gist of it.
Books are a replacement for memory. Perfection that the human mind could never achieve. And with only 2 eyes, I can read them one at a time.
Something I love about Fred's character is that he seems to be very, I don't know, cynical almost. Oh, books are this very human thing. And he doesn't quite understand it, but he is slowly learning about what's the beauty of books and the way books tell stories, but also, like he said, retain memory. Like, he sounds cynical, but look at this smile on his face, like this almost sense of like wonder, like, oh, I didn't understand it quite like that.
Is this truly it? The Hall of the Slain?
Yes.
That must be
though
Odin
it has seen
in Valhalla.
greater days.
It's completely broken.
Times change. Humans find new gods.
So that must be that because reality is collapsing in on itself, and like the Hall of the Slain probably keeps its power because people remember it. But as people stop believing in that type of afterlife, it starts slowly crumbling, spirits move on, and it's losing its power. So considering that Alfhilde's expertise is history, but specifically like Norse history and going back to the Vikings and everything, maybe her task is to keep that knowledge into existence, to keep things like the Hall of the Slain and other realms like that into like its original power, or restore it at least. I quite like that.
And then they forget.
When
Yeah,
it
they
comes
forgot.
to humanity, Their most destructive nature is born of delusion made manifest.
You're a strange one.
I like how Nick is just super serious and he is like, well, the biggest weakness of humanity is delusion. And then we have Lumi when the creature is just head and legs. Just literally head and legs. I love it. It's great.
I've never met someone like you before. Are you telling me to follow you? Wait!
A creature within the library? I see now.
Oh, so he says there's a creature within the library. Then it cuts to this shot of the same corruption that we saw at Mary's castle at the start. So maybe there isn't like a specific reason why reality is collapsing, but rather a certain being that causes it. Maybe that being was manifested because of certain things that we just don't know yet. This looks very disturbing. Like, oh god.
You are a personal account.
Personal account. Okay, so English is not my first language, so maybe the word account has multiple meanings that I'm not aware of, but I'm just thinking about like a bank account or like a library account, but it doesn't feel like this is a library. This is more of an archive, which depending on how you look at it might just be the same thing or whatever. But this creature in the library might just be the thing that's gonna be the common foe, and it might not even just be like a creature like it's actually alive. It just might be a manifestation of something. But like how in Jujutsu Kaisen, cursed spirits are just a manifestation of negative feelings, of fear, of despair that just got humped together into a creature that can actually harm people and destroy things. So this might be something similar, that because people are forgetting the stories and the history and the lore of the world, that maybe either this creature manifested or it broke loose. Like maybe it was held captive and the only thing that was sealing it was people, their belief and their memories. I wonder what Fred's role is in this, because at first I thought he was just a creature that kept archives for centuries and centuries, but the way he's talking about books, it feels like that he only recently found the wonder of books. Maybe only recently turned into like a human owl instead of like an owl. So he sees things with a different set of eyes, quite literally. But maybe he stumbled upon this archive and he didn't know it was in there, or it was in there all along and he has been there for hundreds of years and he also didn't know it was in there. He also seems awfully calm, which I think might just be how his personality is. And then we have Lumi and Nick trying to decipher whatever this glitchy mess is. Oh, this is, oh, I quite like it. Like every time there's like runes and like drawings that look very sinister, I just vibe with it. And I like the subtlety of it, that Nick looks at this and he immediately recognizes it for what it is and he is afraid for that, but Lumi doesn't understand it and that's why she is scared. So they're both scared, but for different reasons. I wonder what this jumbled mess is. It must be a prophecy. Wait, what we saw at the end of Mary's latest lore was that he got teleported to this very magical forest where he meets this hooded stranger that we now know is Frederick Knudsen. He is reading a book and then he sees Mary and he tells him, "You're early, too early," and then he sends Mary back to the real world out of that forest. So my theory around that is that as Fred has an entire archive, there must be like a book or some scrolls with a prophecy in it or something that predicts something happening, something big, and we see something big happening in this teaser trailer. So at that point in time, Fred already knew about the prophecy or about something happening, and he knew that Mary and probably all the others would be involved, but it was too early for it. Like time travel in interdimensional reality stuff is very finicky. So if something is not the right time, it's not the right time and you shouldn't do it yet. So that's why I wonder, like, what is this and at what point in time and how early does Fred know about it? Because we see that Nick and Lumi are finding out right now, and we already know that Lumi and Mary both didn't know at the time of Mary's last lore when Mary got first transported to the Green Forest. So does that mean that whatever happened in Fred's library, where you saw that weird creature sneaking up around all of those books and bending reality there, happened before the end of Mary's lore, chronologically? Very interesting indeed.
This is what I feared.
What is?
A total collapse of reality.
Villains win, while good people suffer and die.
You humans, such brave creatures.
Is all of it a lie? All of it!
Someone in a story once said, if you do not like the world, then change it.
Oh, that last line just gave me goosebumps. If you do not like the world, then change it. And it's something I find really cool about Mary's powers, because at first everything was happening inside of his mind, like a pocket dimension inside of his mind. But then he showed us that he can do exactly the same in the actual world. So Mary already has reality bending powers, and then everyone else also has like powers or background related to stories. Imagine if you're a storyteller and you can bend reality and make it do everything that you want from the story. That's so cool. You know what I realize? We hear Mary do a voiceover, but he is the only one we don't see in this video. Like, I know that he is debuting a new outfit and he is the last one debuting, so there's probably something that has to do with the order of the lore, and seeing that he is behind this idea and this company and everything, that does make sense that he ends. However, what if Mary turns evil, or has like a variant that is like, instead of just wanting to create stories and make a really good world, there's a corrupt version of him out there that wants to change the world so badly that it starts to mess with space and time and reality, and that's why it's breaking. And then with this shot, like, is all of it a lie? So they're obviously talking to someone that just revealed something about the reality of the world. Like, perhaps this reality bending creature created a world that is not real, or created a cover on top of it to make it look different than it is. So obviously, if you find out that you're living in a fake rendition of a real world or something, you would be upset. I wonder, okay, so because this is a trailer and we're gonna get 5 videos, I wonder whether we'll actually see this actual battle, because it seems to be like an adventure level threat. And like, big chance we'll get there, because if there's 5 videos, even if they're like 5 to 10 minutes each, we still have like half an hour to an hour worth of lore, which a lot of storytelling can take place in. And like, I still really think it's sus that Mary's not in here, and I understand that they don't want to spoil his outfit regardless of what it is. Like, with the power of editing, they could just zoom in on his face or something, right, to not spoil the outfit. So I feel like it's done deliberately, that the only time we hear Mary's voice is as a voiceover, as a overall storyteller. Oh, this will be big. I'm very interested. So I wonder what the debut order is telling us here. Everything in the trailer surrounding Lumi was very mild compared to the rest. It was quite innocent. So lore-wise, it makes sense to start with her. Maybe to show her very innocent perspective of things starting to go awry. And then we see her together with Nick. So it feels a natural progression to go to his lore. I don't know enough about Norse history and like Vikings mythology to really say how to jump from Nick to Alfhilde, but considering there were like a lot of runes and everything, there might be some connection there, because if you think about runes, you think about Norse runes, right? So maybe she's the one that can help with like translations, or knows like a legend or a folk tale that ties into it. And then we have Frederick, where he sees the creature as like a thing for the first time, instead of like just reality collapsing. And as he does seem the most separate from the rest of the lore, it makes sense to have to got to know everyone else before that, because they probably just pop in halfway through his lore video to connect everything. And then Mary is at the end. I never really thought about Mary being at the end as something that had to do with maybe lore, because you usually see that the most hyped up person, or like the leader of a group, is always the last in the debut marathons. You know, just to keep people watching. That feels logical to me. But it might actually be something to do with lore, because he's also debuting a new outfit, and all his outfits have a lore reason. And we already know everyone's looks, whether they stay the same as before or they have an entire new VTuber model like Nick and Frederick. The only art discrepancy is from Mary, because he is still in his prince look. But like, from a debut pacing perspective, it also makes sense to have Nick and Frederick not being in direct succession of one another, because they're both debuting an entirely new model for the first time. It's their actual VTuber debut. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day breaking my brain about this, and it's gonna start around 8 p.m. my time. So thank you, AstraLine, for actually having debuts at an EU-friendly time. I still have to stay up late because VShojo is also debuting at 2 a.m. my time. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm gonna attempt at recording my first reactions to these lore videos, but I don't know if I will be able to because it's late at night. But I also want to do a stream dedicated to just going over their lore and piecing everything together, because we kind of know that this debut lore is not going to be the only thing we're seeing from them. The entire thing is going to be about storytelling, so there will be new lore down the line. I am so sure of that. And maybe not in the form of a new video, which I do think we'll get, but also in lore streams or other events, or just lore drops in general, or different types of lore videos. So I'm very glad that I can get ahead of this right from the get-go. Because at VShojo Mythos, I kind of jumped in late, so a lot of questions that you had were basically answered in different videos. So there wasn't a lot to theorize about, but now I can do it all. I'm so excited. I hope you're just as excited for AstraLine as I am, and just like for their lore as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.